I got a story to tell y'all. So we went hunting this morning. We got to stand around 6-ish, around 30 minutes before it started getting daylight. We got all ready and we just sitting in the stand waiting for it to get daylight. I was scrolling through Instagram and stuff. And it finally got daylight, and about 30 minutes after it got daylight probably, we seen some does. I think they were does. But 3 does out there about 60 yards probably. And they was just sitting out there eating acorns. And sat there for 30 minutes to an hour, probably about 30 minutes. And they blew. Well, they blew. And we have no clue why. We're assuming it's because they smelt where we walked in. The wind was perfect, couldn't have seen us because they were behind some trees, so we're just going to assume that they smelt where we walked in. And then so they blow and they go off. And about an hour or 30 minutes later, we hear something walking behind us. And it's just trucking through the woods. Can't be a squirrel. It can't be a squirrel, so we're just like, oh, well, it has to be a deer. So we're just looking around, and Dad taps me right on my head. It's funny. Taps me right on my head. He's like, hey, there's a deer. And I look over, and it's a deer, I don't know, 15, 20 yards from us, and just no clue where it's there. She's coming right in. So I went ahead and I got ready, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to kill me a deer. She just moved right along. No, she didn't stop or nothing. So she just moved right along. And, well, after that, it's pretty much just deer. They kept on coming in after that. About 30 minutes after that, a little button buck started coming in. And, after he came in, he just sat there and fed around for a little bit. And, yeah. So, I'm going to show you all the rest of the video, and I'll narrate a little bit more. So, as I said, this little button buck comes in. He's broadside, 20 yards, and, just perfect 15, 20 yard shot, I could have killed him easily. But we was looking for a big doe, so we decided to let him pass. Now, here is actually that big doe that snuck around behind us. She's sitting at about 20 yards at this moment, and I would have shot her right there, but I didn't have a shot because Dad was to the right of me, and I was on the back side of the tree from her, so I could see her, but I didn't have an opening where I could get a shot. And here's that button buck. This is a little bit after that video that you just saw of him. He stood there and he knew something was up. He's looking at us and he just knew something was up, and he started heading out of there, just very slowly though. And then he finally just kind of books it. And he just stops. Just like sits there. And he sits there for about 10 minutes. And then finally, here he comes back. That has got to be the stupidest deer. Well, not the stupidest. I've seen stupider deer. But one of the stupidest deer I've ever seen. So now here we have his mom. She started taking off when he jumped. And, she's obviously smarter than he is. And so she just took off, and she never showed herself again for quite a while. And here we are back. Yeah. We just back watching this button buck. It's honestly kind of getting boring. But we watch him for a few more minutes, 10, 15 more minutes. And then something happened. Now I'm just going to speed this up and show y'all what in the world happened. Here we are, like 30 minutes later. his mama finally starts coming in. She's pretty big doe, 80, 90-pound doe, so I was going to shoot her. And here she comes. You know, she's about 15 yards right there. She just keeps on coming slower and slower, getting closer and closer, till finally she's about somewhere between 5 and 12 yards. She's just sitting there broadside, eating some corn, and then it happened. Yep, boom, right in her tracks. I mean, I was so excited. Dad told me to knock another arrow, so I knocked another arrow. And then he said, knock another arrow. I was like, my arrow is knocked. He's like, well, shoot her. I was like, oh, okay. And so I shoot again. And of course, it always happens like this. I miss. I got her on that one. Now, if you listen closely in that clip, I said I got her. It looked like it went straight through her, but it didn't. So now, I have to shoot her again. Now, are we sure that this is a deer? Because that sounded like a freaking triceratops screaming. Or sheep, whatever you want to call it.
Hey. Be quiet. Okay.
You're shaking.
It's exciting.
Yeah. Well, she is dead, like at 16 yards. This is a crazy morning so far. We've seen that same group of deer. That's the third time.
We've had deer around us all day.
Yeah, so first we seen a couple over there just feeding around. And then I guess they smelled us. They blew at us. And then I'm assuming it's the same group of deer, showed up back behind us, came over, they blew at us, saw us, smelled us or something. And we sat here for an hour or so. 30 minutes to an hour or so. And then these deer started coming back out. And I think it was her, she just kept on going. And then that little button buck came. He's fed around, spooked, fed around, and then another doe came. The two big does, they just headed out. We watched this button buck for 30 minutes or more. And I look up and I see a doe just coming in. Like, daggone, there's a big old doe. And, you know, she kind of sits around all spooky and stuff, waits for that button buck to come in. And when he started walking back to the feed, she walked right in. And broadside at 11 yards, I just took a shot. And when I drew back, 3 more deer was over there just jumping around. I guess he was running into the feed too, so she's dead now. So now we gotta figure out how to get her out of here. Now, as I go over there to get down from the stand, I go over to check on her. Oh, that's close.
Huh?
That's close.
Right there. All right. Huh? I'm gonna come down.
And so, yeah, that is pretty much what happened this morning. Got a couple pictures. I'll pop them up here at the end of the video. It's really exciting. Got my first deer of the year. First deer I've ever dropped with a bow. It's only second deer I've ever seen dropped with a bow in person. And yeah, so I'll see you guys next time, whenever that is.